Nestled in the heart of the Balkans, Bosnia-Herzegovina is bordered by Croatia to the west, Serbia to the east, and Montenegro to the south. It covers 51,000 square kilometers and is home to a population of around 3.5 million. Borders are more than just lines on a map. They shape its history, culture, and future. Between majestic mountains and verdant valleys, how do these borders, visible and invisible, influence the unity or division of its inhabitants?
Many centuries, the territory of Bosnia-Herzegovina was under the Ottoman rule. During these ages, the Slavic population, part of the Slavic population, decided to adopt the Muslim religion, so to convert themselves into Ottoman citizens. And it was much better if they wanted to cooperate with the administration of Bosnia-Herzegovina under the Ottoman rule. Part of the citizens did not convert. They kept their Christian religion. It was Christian Catholic for mainly the Croats and Christian Orthodox for the Serbs. This difference in the religion made also possible, slowly with the development of the history, the evolution of Bosnia-Herzegovina and the way towards its, I would say, autonomy. But the autonomy did not arrive because Bosnia-Herzegovina passed in 1878 from the Ottoman administration to the Austro-Hungarian administration. So we had the Austro-Hungarian Empire administrating Bosnia and Herzegovina since 1878 until 1908. So it was more or less 30 years of administration, but in 1908, after 30 years of administration, the Austro-Hungarian Empire decided to extend its full sovereignty on Bosnia-Herzegovina. So between 1908 and the First World War, Bosnia-Herzegovina was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. But then we had the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire in the First World War, and Bosnia-Herzegovina became part of the new kingdom of the Serbs, the Croats, and the Slovenes. And this kingdom was created under the crown of the royal family of Serbia, Karađorđević. During the 20s and the 30 years, the royal family Karađorđević, the king Alexander Karađorđević, in 1929, decided to centralize the power and to reduce the specificities of the different ethnic groups. And that provoked a main conflict with the Croats. King Alexander was killed in 1934 in Marseille, in France. So the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, it was called Kingdom of Yugoslavia since 1929, which means Kingdom of the Slavic population of the South. And so there was a kingdom without a king. There was a regent who was a cousin of the King Alexander, Paul, and the cousin was, of course, weaker with reference to the king. So Yugoslavia in the 30 years became also quite an authoritarian country at the age of the period of Milan Stojadinovic as prime minister.
In the 20th century, at the end of the Second World War, Bosnia-Herzegovina became part of the new Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. This period left an indelible mark on the country.
During the Second World War, Yugoslavia tried to be out of the war, but in 1941 there was the signature of the Pact of Belvedere, by which Yugoslavia became part of the tripartite group with Italy, Germany, and Japan. But after this signature, there was a coup in Yugoslavia. There was no consensus about this decision that was taken by the government and by the regent. And after that, we had the invasion of Yugoslavia by Italy and Germany, and a tragic war during 4 years, mainly in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina was the theater of this conflict during the Second World War. And Tito won the war. Bosnia and Herzegovina was part of the new Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Tito had a charisma in the former Yugoslavia. All the population of Yugoslavia were respecting Tito. And Bosnia and Herzegovina was, of course, reducing the antagonism among the three different main groups, which were the Croats, the Serbs, and the Bosniak Muslims.
The tragic turning point in the history of Bosnia-Herzegovina was the Bosnian War, a dark period that divided the country and redefined its borders.
But when we had the death of Josip Broz Tito in 1980, then we started to have the first indicators of the collapse of Yugoslavia. And in 1991, we had the proclamation of independence by Slovenia, Croatia, and a few months later, also Bosnia and Herzegovina proclaimed its independence. But that started a new war in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Well, the ethnic tensions were there since many centuries. There was a competition among the ethnic groups. And so that started in Bosnia and Herzegovina also because of the presence of the Serbs. So when in 1992 there was the proclamation of independence of Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Federal Army of Yugoslavia, mainly dominated by Serbia, decided to invade Bosnia and Herzegovina in order to protect the many Serbs that were living there. So the conflict started to be very rude, very violent. We had the siege of Sarajevo for approximately 3 years. We had the bombing of Bosnia and Herzegovina, the bombing of Sarajevo, mainly by the Serbs. We had several attacks by both sides. Some thousands of Serbs were killed by also the Bosniak Muslim groups in the valley of the Drina River. The retaliation was the massacre of thousands, more than between 7,000 and 8,000 of Muslims in Srebrenica and in other areas of Bosnia and Herzegovina. It was really the saddest moment for the history of Europe.
My uncle was injured because he joined the military for a few months, but then his arms got injured because of a grenade, and he fortunately still has his arm. He uses it because he got immediately into surgery, and some muscles from his legs were taken away and they were put into the arm. So his arm is not like straight. He can move it a little bit, but not that much, because he has like some holes here. And sometimes it's very, I don't know, I get sad when I see his arm, because then I remember that he lived during the war and then he got injured.
We cannot guarantee the future of Bosnia. No one outside can guarantee that Muslims, Croats, and Serbs in Bosnia will come together and stay together as free citizens in a united country sharing a common destiny. Only the Bosnian people can do that. Seize this chance and make it work. You can do nothing to erase the past, but you can do everything to build the future.
The Dayton Agreement in 1995 put an end to the war and created a new order in Bosnia-Herzegovina, redefining its internal borders.
Only the Dayton Agreement of 1995 made possible to re-establish peace, to separate the groups, to send a peacekeeping military mission provided by NATO, and also the nomination of a higher representative of the international community who should act as referee within the framework of the antagonism, the opposition among the three ethnic groups. The Dayton Agreement created a very complicated state, having two entities, the Srpska Republic and the Bosniak Croat Federation, but with the three main groups. So the architecture of this state is extremely complicated, and this is probably also the reason why even today we do not have a complete serenity, harmony, and stability, because the balance among the three groups is not certain, and very often we have indicators of new instability.
Ne molimo kad nas ovdje zovete Bosancima. Mi nismo Bosanci. Mi smo Srbi. Ja sam Srbin. Ja sam Srbin, pravoslavac, govorim srpski, pišem ćirilicu, moja krsna slava je Đurđevdan i ništa me ne identifikuje po ničemu.
At present, Bosnia-Herzegovina faces a series of complex challenges, including long-standing ethnic tensions, as well as governance and stability issues.
Bosnia-Herzegovina has a constitution written in English, which is not really, in my opinion, supporting the dignity of those populations. So to respect them, to give them the full power and the full sovereignty, probably the international community should renounce to the High Representative and to encourage the evolution of Bosnia-Herzegovina toward a new constitution, a new balance of power inside of the state, with, of course, the condition of living in peace and without violence. Bosnia-Herzegovina does not really have a foreign policy because there is the veto of one or the other of the groups. For instance, as you know, we have 2 out of 3 groups that would be in favor of the entrance of Bosnia-Herzegovina into NATO, but the 3rd group does not want. That's why Bosnia-Herzegovina is not a member of NATO. And the Serbs that does not want, also because they want to be loyal to the other Serbs and to show solidarity towards the Serbian country after the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia in 1999. And nobody will forget this, of course. So a country which is still very divided, this is the main threat.
Bosnia-Herzegovina has been a candidate for European integration since 2003. Since then, the country has undertaken major reforms to meet the criteria for membership of the European Union. This candidacy represents a commitment to European perspective that encompasses political, economical, and social reforms aimed at securing a stable and prosperous future for all Bosnians. However, invisible borders, be they ethnic, political, or cultural, remain a major challenge in achieving this goal.
The European Union will hardly welcome a new candidate country if this country is not quite homogeneous. But how to create homogeneous country if we have so different groups, having different religions, the way of thinking and traditions? I think that all the three communities, we do not only have 3 communities, those are the main community. We have many other communities living in Bosnia-Herzegovina, but those are the majoritarian communities, and they claim the right to protect their identity and to protect their way of living, their way of writing. As you know, the Serbs, they write in Cyrillic, the Croats and the Bosnian Muslims, they write in Latin characters. So we have so many differences, and not easy to create an homogeneous country when you have so many differences. Bosnia-Herzegovina is a typical multicultural country, but also the United States is a multicultural country. As you know, the Constitution of the United States starts with the words, "We, the peoples of the United States." So there are many peoples, not one people. And also in Bosnia-Herzegovina, we have a multicultural state. The problem is that in the United States, they recognize the institutions, they respect their president, and they follow the laws and the rules. We don't know if in Bosnia-Herzegovina, if there are laws or rules that probably are not sometimes in line with the interests of one of the communities, would be a rule that community will respect and follow. So this is the main question mark that we have for the future of Bosnia-Herzegovina. But it's a wonderful country, and it's a pity that we still have so many divisions. They do influence the negotiations. Moreover, on the Serbian side, there's always the temptation to say, if we do not agree with some proposals, we would prefer to quit and either to become completely independent as Republika Srpska or to join Serbia and to include Srpska Republic into Serbia. this is a tool of negotiation for Srpska Republic. Milorad Dodik, who is the main leader of this Srpska Republic, often exploits this tool to make pressure on the other communities in order to avoid the secession of the Srpska Republic. Nevertheless, Bosnia and Herzegovina may join the European Union in the future, should join, but they still have to do a lot of work at the internal side in order to be more integrated and express themselves with one voice when it is possible.
I think that for Bosnia and Herzegovina to join the European Union would be a great thing, because I think it would bring more working places, and also I think more integration and the reconciliation, because I think that it's very important for all the ethnicities to work together, as I said before, to make the country a better place to live in. And I think that the joining of the country in the European Union can motivate all the ethnicities to work together, and because the main aim of joining the European Union is to improve the quality of life in the country and to have more connections with other European countries. And I think that it could be a motivation for all the ethnicities to reconciliate and work together and to improve in general the quality of life.
Allora, è una domanda abbastanza, nel senso, su cui ci si può ragionare molto, però secondo me, almeno dal mio punto di vista, potrebbe aiutare, però deve essere il processo, diciamo, di riconciliazione dei gruppi etnici all'interno della Bosnia deve essere già in corso, nel senso che io vedo più diciamo l'effetto opposto, nel senso, secondo me prima di pensare all'entrata diciamo della Bosnia dentro l'Unione Europea, secondo me bisogna pensare alla riconciliazione delle diverse etnie, dei diversi stati che ci sono, diciamo, all'interno della Bosnia, delle diverse fazioni, quindi parliamo della Erzegovina, della Repubblica Serba. Secondo me prima tra di loro bisogna trovare un punto comune, un modo per unire loro, e poi quando hai una solida base, come dicevo prima, si può pensare a qualcosa di più grande, all'Unione Europea e appunto a entrare a farne parte.
In conclusion, Bosnia-Herzegovina, with its borders redrawn by history, continues its quest for harmony. Between past divisions and future aspirations, this country reminds us that borders are not just line on a map, but passages towards deeper understanding and unity. On its path towards European integration, Bosnia-Herzegovina embodies the hope of a future where diversity becomes a unifying force.